Okay, all right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. All the students who came from all over, all the advisors who came from all over, all of the other graduates from IwB who came to watch, everyone else. We are Team 18, and as the previous group said as well, our main focus is food. And as they mentioned as well, we were given corresponding sites in both Regent Park area of Toronto and the Camden Street upper and Richmond Street lower portion of Dublin. Now, our project concept is to provide healthy local food alternatives for a unified, self-sustaining human ecosystem. Why are we doing this? As a community-based group, our main objectives are to eliminate food waste, promote healthy living and self-sustainability, create a sense of ownership, and most importantly, try to eliminate negative health trends that have sort of developed over the last 10 or 20 years, mainly. How are we going to do it? In a nutshell, this will be dragged on later on, but in a nutshell, we're going to initially establish our allies, our partners. This is where we're going to get most of our funding from. Most of the information we're going to get from schools, churches, community centers, things like that. We're going to take that information, approach local businesses, approach the local businessmen that live there, and sort of get their financial support to get that ball rolling. From there, we'll gradually move into minimal architectural and program implementation. Things like after-school programs, adjustments to curriculums, after evening culinary programs for adults, things like that. And then gradually, as these programs pick up and sort of develop over time, we will start applying major architectural changes to the neighborhood of Regent Park and as well as Camden Upper and Richmond Lower. So now Alex will demonstrate through user personas how sort of this is going to work on a day-to-day basis.
Jordan is a 6th grade student at Nelson Mandela Public School. His primary guardian is his brother, Antoine. Jordan attends school, takes his newly implemented nutritional class where he learns all of the nutritional facts about the common vegetables that he eats on a daily basis. In the afternoon, Jordan's class takes a field trip, which was just recently implemented, to a local farm where he is exposed to the growing and harvesting process of those same common vegetables. Following the conclusion of his day, Jordan attends the new after-school program that teaches him how to clean, prepare, and cook the harvested produce while he waits for his brother to pick him up after class. Antoine is a second-year graduate student at the University of Toronto. He is the primary guardian of his brother, Jordan. After finishing his night class, Antoine proceeds directly to Nelson Mandela Public School to pick up Jordan from the after-school program that he attends. On their way home, Antoine realizes that there's no food at home and he is low on funds for the time being. Keeping this in mind, Antoine checks the Food For You app that is provided by our program and sees that there is a food truck in the area that is run by the local church and comprised of food that was going to be thrown away by the local restaurants and grocery stores. Antoine decides to capitalize on this affordable and healthy service opportunity and picks up one for the two of them each. Once they get home, the food is served. After his day of nutrition classes, field trips, and cooking lessons, Jordan acknowledges the contents of the meal and teaches his brother how to reassemble it to a better tasting and more creative alternative, something he learned from the after-school cooking program. Antoine's girlfriend, Jessa, is a 30-year-old banker that lives in Regent Park and frequently attends free local culinary classes for adults that take place at the local community centers, churches, and elementary schools in Regent Park area. The following day, when she meets up with Antoine, he tells her about his learning experience from his little brother, Jordan. Keeping in mind that it is a Friday night and they were looking for plans anyways, Jessa checks the Food For You app and is informed that there is a class taking place within the hour right around the corner at Nelson Mandela Public School as well. Jessa decides it is a great option for their night out. As they arrive at the school, where they are briefed by the local chef that has volunteered his time on the basic cooking appliances, utensils, and other facilities that are required for the lesson. They are then taken to the rooftop garden where they are shown how to observe, choose, and harvest select vegetables and fruits. They are then taken back down to the kitchen where they are shown how to clean, prepare, and cook the ingredients accordingly. At the end of the evening, they have a meal that they can either eat or take it home.
Thank you, good sir. Okay, so now we're going to jump into more detail in regards to our short, medium, and long-term goals. So you just see some pictures there of our lovely model. Okay, so short-term, ideally, is going. Just be patient with the model. Don't worry, it'll develop into something. So ideally, our short-term goals are going to be spread out over the next 6 months. This was something that we were looking at. How are we going to approach this if we started tomorrow? And then, so from there, ideally, our medium-term goals are spread out over the next 18 months, and then long-term goals over the next 3 years. So for short-term, thank you. So for short-term, we're going to start off with our R&D, research and development. From there, we're going to look at the active schedules of the community centers, the churches, and as well the elementary schools. And as well, we're going to look at the vacant land that they have available, teacher and chef availabilities at the local schools and local restaurants, and then as well assess the resources that are available at these public facilities, kitchens, the classes, all the different materials that are going to be required to sort of demonstrate these culinary lessons. And then from there, we're actually going to assess the elementary curriculum to see sort of how we can improve it and sort of tweak it around independent food growth and health education. So after we gather this information, we are going to take it to our established allies. Ideally for us, this is the local businesses that are in the area, Freshco, Tim Hortons, RBC. And for us, our sort of push to them was that this is a social incentive. It's more than just giving money. You're creating a self-sustaining human ecosystem within a city, you know, that can truly be looked at as an ideal example of what the future can be and what we're sort of, what we're really like able to do. And yeah. So from there, we're also going to look at the private developers. As the previous group said, there's a lot of things going on within the next 10 years. So we would initially get the developers on board with this as well. Next. So from there, once we gather their financial assistance, we're going to move into preliminary testing. Temporary implementing field trips, temporarily implementing after-school programs. In Toronto, this is going to pertain to Nelson Mandela Public, Regent Park in Dublin, New York, and as well the Lord Dufford. And then in the Dublin area, this is going to be Shaw Secondary, and as well to Laurel College, which is a little bit out of our study area, but it's still close enough where it can easily be sort of incorporated with this. So after this all goes well, the kids catch on to it, everything else, we're going to move into our 18-month goals, which is going to spread over to the community centers and as well the churches, where we're going to utilize their facilities that are already publicly available. And from there, we are going to start applying minor architectural changes like gardens, like greenhouses, and updating these resources that need to be updated, like kitchens and appliances and things like that. From there, like I said, we're going to start utilizing those publicly accessible multi-use areas. We want to avoid building buildings that are just one purpose, so we want to use what's already there. And of course in Toronto, this is going to pertain to All Saints Cathedral, St. Bartholomew's, Regent Park Community, St. George's Community, and then in Dublin as well, Adelaide Presbyterian and St. Anthony's. So from there, then we will make the curriculum changes with the public and Catholic school boards, introducing these nutritional classes, introducing regular field trips, and as well looking at maybe modifying biology classes to, again, sort of tailor around independent food development and things like that. Yep. Okay, so upon the development of all of these things, essentially, as you'll see on our model and on our 3D renderings, this is something that's going to take over the entire neighborhood and touch every aspect of the community. Through the residents using these public services over the duration of the 3 years, we anticipate that they're going to take on this lifestyle independently and actually start doing these things at home, which is, as we see, it has touched everything. So from there, we're actually going to start creating and introducing tax incentives, tax write-offs, things like that for people who are producing their own food, and for businesses that are actually buying into these incentives that revolve around eliminating food waste and things like that. And then again, of course, assuming that everyone does dive into this, which they will, we will then begin sort of the implementations of permanent architectural changes like vertical gardens, like green roofs, like green walls, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we basically want to do this because we know it works. These are 5 examples from multiple continents demonstrating that they do work, and they have worked for decades. So to wrap things up, some pictures of our lovely model, and as well we have a 1-minute video that sort of explains our whole journey through the charrette. Enjoy.